everybody. My name is Logan, and I'm from TwinDisaster.com. Here to broadcast my new show, Bands That People Have Never Heard of. Alright. In this new show, I'm going to be broadcasting bands, obviously, that a lot of people haven't heard of. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not like as if I hate all mainstream bands, and if you've heard of a band name, that means I must never listen to it. That's not the case. I love a lot of bands that people know a lot of, like Foo Fighters, Red Hot Chili Peppers, whatever. But today, this episode, I'm going to feature one of my favorite bands that a lot of people have never heard the name of, but they've probably heard the songs. Don't get me wrong, they're not like a one-hit wonder, but their works are put in works that don't really appeal to a giant audience. Here, you know what? If you're a gamer, you're going to know this band. More than likely, anyway. Have you ever played the Sonic games? Yeah. Let's see if you can recognize this tune. That's right. Crush 40 is the band responsible for putting together most of the Sonic soundtracks for the Sonic video games past the first Sonic Adventure. Now, they don't really do that much with the Sonic portable games, like, the Sonic Advance series and all that kind of stuff. And the only notable game that Crush 40 should have put a soundtrack to but didn't would have to be Sonic and the Secret Rings. But the main song was written by somebody else, but they covered it in the next Sonic game, which Sonic and the Black Knight. The cover version was on there, along with most of their original work on that game. Now, they're kind of a funny example that I picked first, because I love them. I mean, I'm not even joking you. I'm gonna go see them here pretty soon. But outside of gamers, and even at that, gamers that actually know their music, not that many people know about them, unfortunately. Like I said, their appeal isn't that. Their appeal is pretty much limited to people that like the Sonic video games. You don't really hear about them that much, like in any other situations. Maybe, like gaming shows, which take their music and like put them on there or whatever. But you're not gonna really hear about them on the radio or on TV or anything like that. It's kind of a shame, but what you gonna do? With that, we're gonna start with my top 5 songs by them. Can't hold on much longer. I will never let go. Yes, I love this song. In case you didn't know, Open Your Heart was the main theme for the original Sonic Adventure video game. Also carried over to the DX version. I just love the chord structures on here. I love the tempo of it too, because you got like in the build up, you got the initial like thunder and like stormy kind of sound effects, like the then it picks up to the rapid guitar picking part, and then it just goes straight into the main melody, and it just sounds amazing. I'm not gonna lie, the only thing that I don't really like about this song are, I'm gonna have to say, just it's kind of hard. There's a lot of points where I think could have been mini climaxes, but they kind of died. Like, you don't get that much of an epic feeling up until the last utterance of, open your heart, it's gonna be alright, the very last one. But, like, it builds up to it, too. It's like, open your heart, it's gonna be alright. It just, like, drops off, and it doesn't go to, like, where it could have just, like, if it was going like this, it kind of, like, suddenly, like, curved off or something, it didn't go straight up until the end. Aside from being a little bit anticlimactic, I didn't find that much wrong with it. It's one of my favorite songs. Again, it has the faster rock tempo to it. It's not super heavy. It kind of mixed the two together, which I kind of liked. I think when you add the lead vocals and you carry it over with the backup vocals for the just sounds amazing. I love it. Um, what else to say? But I love this song. Featured in the Sonic the Hedgehog, aka Sonic 06, Sonic 2006, whatever. The one that was created for the PS3 and Xbox 360. That takes my number 4 spot. Now, don't get me wrong. I love this song. I mean, I love all the songs that I'm going to feature. But every time I say that this isn't my favorite by them, I get a lot of hate, not really hatred, but I get a lot of questions about it. You know, like, oh, but this is such an amazing song. It is. But there's a little bit of a backstory to the song. Like, a lot of people didn't realize that Crush 40 wasn't the main people that Sega came up to when they came to writing the song. They actually went to the band Zebrahead. Hint, hint, featured in the next video. Sega went up to Zebrahead and, you know, asked for their version. They recorded 2 versions. One was like, you know, the standard Zebrahead version. It sounded just like what Zebrahead would produce. The other was kind of like a remix, almost. It sounds weird. It sounds pretty good, but still weird. But then Sega came up to Crush 40 and said, hey, you know, you should do your version too. The main differences between the two are between the main Zebrahead version and the Crush 40 version. The Crush 40 version, that has a lot to do more with the actual game and the events and stuff. I think that's why it won over the Zebrahead version, because Zebrahead version was mainly talking about Sonic, and it didn't really feature anything specific to that game. Like, Sonic, like, you know, Open Your Heart, that described the plotline to Sonic Adventure very well. Really not that much different than the Crush 40 version of, you know, his world. Matched up with the story, matched up with the mood, the atmosphere, pretty much everything. One complaint about it, I do like the Zebrahead version a bit more. And I think that's why I have it a little bit lower than all the other songs. If it didn't have any competition, I think it probably would have might have made it to really top spot, like maybe 2 or 1 even. But Zebrahead version I find to be a little superior, and because of that, my opinion for this song goes down a little bit. Not a lot. I never skip over it whenever it comes up. I just love it. Okay, for my number 3 spot, this is going to go a little bit different than what a lot of people would have expected. Number 3, I'm going to have to go with I Am All of Me. Amazing song. Why do I say that it's a little bit different than everybody expected? It's not a true Sonic game. It's actually from Shadow the Hedgehog, which, if you've played, you know is different than most other Sonic the Hedgehog video games. I just love it. You have the heavy tone, it's just so heavy. But it's not like dredged down either. It's got like this, not even mean, I can't even describe it. I mean, I just love the song. You know, you got like this heavy beat. It's also progressing. It's not like slowing down because it's so heavy. It's like a juggernaut, you know, once it goes, it doesn't stop. You have like a vocal pair off, which is interesting, you know, with the I am. You got that part. Matches perfectly. By the way, I'm not a good singer. You know, it just works really well. You got like this little bit of a rap beat to it, which Crush 40 they do for, you know, a pretty decent number of songs, but it works really well here. It just sounds really heavy. It matched perfectly with the game's style and tone. Crush 40 did an amazing job with this. I'm gonna have to say this is probably like my favorite in terms of matching up with the game. Not my favorite Crush 40 song, but favorite that matches up with the game that was intended. I just love it. The instrumentation is good. It sounds almost industrial, but it's not. Again, it just feels heavy, but also metallic too. It's not just heavy like drudging along. No. You know it's going somewhere. It's just perfect. I'm gonna get a lot of hatred for this one. Not that the song is bad, it's amazing. And the only reason why I'll get hatred is because everybody expects it to be in my number one spot. And I was really close to putting it there. Not even joking you. I love this song. It's just perfect in my ears. I, it only reason why I don't like it too much, or not it's not a dislike thing. It's more of a why I wouldn't put it in my number one spot. It doesn't match well with the game. When you know what my number one's, when you know what number one is, you'll understand what I mean by that. But oh god, this song is just so epic. It gives me goosebumps. I'm just thinking about the lyrics right now. I'm just thinking about the song. I'm getting goosebumps. Um, I just love it. Now I might be a little biased because that was actually my first Sonic game and like probably my second or third GameCube game I've ever played. Yeah, I've played the GameCube version before I played the Dreamcast version. Sue me. I was a little kid then. Really fun, really amazing boss fight just because of that song. You could like replace that boss fight, theme. If you got rid of Live and Learn and you put take your pick, just put like an instrumental, behind it. It wouldn't have sounded that well for me. The game's final boss wouldn't have been so epic. And I guess that you can kind of make that you could kind of make that assumption for any other of the boss battles, especially like the first Sonic. But this one just exhilarated me. I almost didn't want to beat the boss battle so I could just listen to it over and over and over and over and over again. Luckily, that game also had the feature where you could listen to the songs over. I raped the replay button on that. I just loved it. Um, vocals are pitch perfect. Instru- you have the instruments that go along perfectly. Backup vocals just, it's just so awesome. Now, what kind of song could beat? If I'm getting this excited over the number two spot, you're probably wondering what number one is.
Trying to reach inside of me, trying to drain my energy. Let me show you just what I'm made of.
God, this song is amazing. Okay, that's why this was such a hard choice between Live and Learn and this song. This song barely nudges above. Again, both have perfect instrumentals. It has both have perfect vocals, backup vocals, perfect tone, perfect atmosphere. Oh, it was seriously, you can't tell which one's better. Like if this is Live and Learn, this is What I'm Made Of. They're honestly both clashing at each other. The only reason why I picked What I'm Made Of is because Live and Learn, the lyrics and vocals are amazing, but it's not limit. It doesn't feel like as if it belongs there. Like I think it's one of those songs that you can include in almost anything, and it would have made it amazing. What I'm Made Of, you feel was definitely made for that. That's what made the song much more amazing. It's like I said, really tough to decide. Using that though, I'm not sure what's gonna be number one. If I'm going off of the games, obviously What I'm Made Of, but Live and Learn seems to be like you can listen to it at any time. But fuck it. Um, like I said, What I'm Made Of, it has the perfect tempo. I just love its like driving force. It's heavy. It's heavier than it's heavier than Live and Learn and Open Your Heart. Not as heavy as I Am All of Me, which I'm kind of glad because, like I said, it was just perfect for the boss battle, perfect atmosphere. Vocals, it has that nice, not shout, because they don't shout that much, but it has that perfect like crispness, like over it doesn't overplay its vocals at all, if that makes sense. Like it doesn't go past the notes don't go any longer than they need to be. Like I know a lot of bands will do that, but like it seems like as if their cutoffs are just perfect for the song, both both the instruments and vocals. Um, there's not much other to say. I listen to this song constantly. One side note I gotta make about Crush 40 though. It seems like whenever they write their songs for the Sonic games, it's kind of funny. With the exception of Live and Learn, it seems like as if their best songs actually come from like some of their worst games. Like His World and from Sonic the Hedgehog 2006. Everybody knows that that game is terrible. Um, I'm probably gonna get a little bit of hatred for this. I didn't really like Sonic Heroes that much. Not because I didn't want innovation or anything like that, but it didn't feel right. It didn't feel like a proper Sonic game. Like honestly, you take Sonic and the Secret Rings. To me, that felt a lot more like a proper Sonic game than Sonic Heroes. I'll get into that later on with a different episode from a different series. But that's just kind of a funny note I mentioned. You're probably gonna be wondering, oh, why don't I mention some of their creation, their songs outside of the Sonic games? No real reason. I mean, I have a lot of their songs, but what can I say? They're good at making Sonic video game, soundtracks. Not that they're original, not that they're OC for their own band themselves is bad because trust me, it's amazing also. But I just happen to prefer the Sonic games. The Sonic game soundtracks. I don't have a problem with admitting that. And that right there is my top five for Crush 40. Uh, they tour nowadays still. It's not like as if they're disbanded. Like you can probably get tickets anywhere. They do tour often, especially like if it's a major Sonic thing. Like for Sonic's 20th anniversary, they were just like all over the place. The touring now, I don't remember where they're touring at specifically at this point, but they do tour around here and there. Usually it's not that usually it's not that crowded because unfortunately they're not that well known, but it's just a great band. You know, I hope to meet them one day. I mean, I would just love to go up and just have nice backstage pass, just enjoy it. Will that happen? I can't say, but whatever. And that's my review of Crush 40. I hope you enjoyed it. I know for a fact I enjoy Crush 40. I encourage you to go out and maybe not buy any of their albums because they're actually kind of hard to find now. You know, if you believe that, you have to go to like one of the more specialty kind of music stores. Like a specific music store or order online. Nothing else more to say. I just have to say, listen to the band because they're amazing. Play the Sonic games if you want. I mean, sure, a lot of people have complaints about them, but you can hear some really kick-ass soundtracks. Go ahead. Next episode, Zebra Head.